Good morning. It is the 24th day of May 2019, and welcome to the Money Charts channel. All bets trades of the like. Well, that's within each's own risk and their reward. For myself, risk reward management is always job number one. Let's start off with in Bitcoin, do short candles as I call it, which is looking at like only a few. I'll do this many. And start with the 5, work all our way up to the monthly term time frame. Bitcoin is in at 8,009, so overall that's good hanging in there. Looking like a pause week when we look at the weekly time frame, but we'll get to that when we get there. On the 5, it's all meh or whatever. It's had better up runs on the first 75% of the move, but over the last quarter, I'm giving back some of the gain, and yeah, whatever. Let's go to the 15. What does that all mean here? Oh, that means a lot. For its pullback is in its first good correctionary phase since it managed to break out at 1:30 in the morning. It was below 7,800. It did get to over 8,050. And here we are now correcting within this. Whenever you have your first 18 average test and it's been many legs higher or it's went up large, it's no big deal or it's not a large concern if it breaks below it. Although it definitely can be the top. But then that's when you'd be like, oh, our time frame. What does it have for support? Oh, see, going down further would mean hitting the 18 average of lows on here. And its breakout started May 23rd, 5 o'clock in the morning. So now it's almost 20, it's 29 hours since the levels went up. Gets above it, finds support on the highs, new leg higher, finds support on the lows, new leg higher. So far, it is at the lows. Again, this could have been started to break out from here, leaving finding support on the highs. Breaks out, nope, resisting the highs down to here. So definitely, I mean, you can see oh it's breaking out. It can flip flop on you at any time. I think that's what I'm trying to say. On the 4-hour term time frame, well, since this decline, which occurred May the 16th, that was a week ago, what did it do when it came up to this point? Because when you see the first move go down, you know it's going to be a matter of time before you have this move in high volatility, usually to the 18 like this. And in a big bear market condition move, that's when you're going to get usually instead you might get like this action in here either way, but that's like almost showing weakness on the 18 average of lows, or just still barely holding into what it needs to after it got its ass kicked. Does it get its ass kicked further? Well, in a bear market, yes, it would, and it would have a break below the 18. Maybe it would resist it. You'd see maybe a fast move down to previous low. Maybe it goes sideways for a bit or makes another lower high rally to the 18, all that type of stuff. But no, it gets above it on this level here, supports it once, doesn't get out of correction, has a failed break below or really a retest of this level and back into the correctionary move. So it's in its correctionary system, and now it's a jailbreak, or however you want to look at it. It's a break of the 18 average of highs, and that was done last period. And how much time is left on this one? 2 hours and 6 minutes. So halfway through the next one, it's pausing it so far. On the daily chart, it's been, of course, in that spectacular up move. No resistance here. What's your early stages of it? Well, once it goes too far, you got to start to give it the benefit of the doubt. Okay, yeah, we're going probably to level next, and then, of course, we see it here. A retest of this level, an attempt to break out, it didn't do it, so it's taken a little breather within correctionary move, and it's still at the 18 average of highs. It comes in at 79.49, so technically it's barely above it, but close enough where it's just only hardly, it's like barely leaving the door and they can still see you kind of deal. You're still on the premises, but hey, if you go too far, we won't see you anymore, just like in here. Okay, leaving the premises, oh, now they can't see me anymore kind of deal. Just thinking of that nature, but the attempt in leaving this after having like a higher low come back in here and then a third retest of this level, oh, the probability odds become very, very good and the break of that level. And as I was mentioning, no resistance here. Okay, there's your indication. When you see it's just moving its way up, well, this tells me we're en route to the next level, and there's no reason for me not to use these exponential Fibonacci levels when they have a tremendous track record. And until they don't, well, I'm going to keep using them. And within the monthly term time frame, this was the breaking down of the 18 lows last October. 1, 2, 3, 4 pause periods, just going sideways, we'll call it. And then here's your correctionary move to the lows. It doesn't resist it. It goes further to the 18 average of highs. And that's where it lies. Now it's barely breaking it above it. But the 18 average of highs is in at 67.40. So it's now, if you, this volatility means around 72, 73, 74 is barely a pierce above. Now it's harder to see, if you will. I used that example before where, oh, you can still see the person okay enough as they're just leaving the door. Well, they left the door and went a few streets ahead, so you can still see three streets from where you are from your doorstep, we'll say. But it's going to start to become unclear if this gets over 10,000. Or maybe even a half a street ahead, where maybe two streets ahead would be like 89, something like that. But it is having a nice breakout attempt. And overall, I'm looking at this whenever you have a situation when you have a major level of key support and it has that break below, has a good leg, a formidable leg before, what you would expect if a move is to do it, which is exactly where it was in the area of the 31. And you are able to draw a box formation because price action is able to get above that line, meaning resistance wasn't found here. Maybe it still can pierce above. You can't rule that out yet, but hey, you can't rule out the what I'm trying to talk about in that failed move. So if it's going to get back to its previous congested area, which would be really the upper end of that, because if you see it go to congestion area, that means you're looking for failed move, fast move, and a fast move is a break above congestion. So whether we're going to consolidate more, whether it's going to come back to the neckline, I don't know. But breaking out above this level, which is really above that key Fibonacci level of 10, that's an OMG moment. But for now, the price action is an attempt to make a move to about 10,000, which would be, yeah, a couple streets ahead, a much more noticeable clear break of the 18. Let's move on to the next coin. And that would be Theta. And this worked out well for me, at least so far. Yesterday, I ended up buying Theta. Let's just move this to the single-hour term time frame. It would have been down in here at the 1300 and change mark. And I bought a decent amount of it. I'm saying to myself, man, Derek, you got to be trading this against LITECOIN and aggressively. And I say to myself, yes, Derek, you're right. Okay, well, let's make an action plan towards it. So I bought more with LITECOIN. And then I moved it in my wallet, set up my spreadsheets, yada, yada, yada. And then this move happened. So I'm looking for 25% moves, as I call it. So sell about 20% if it goes up 25%. Like 18, 19. If it goes up like 28, 29, then easily do 20%. If it goes up 40%, maybe you want to up it to 29 or 30%. If it goes to 50%, maybe you want to do a third, 36%. If it goes up, say, 65% on the ratio, maybe you want to do 40, 50, 55% of what you own. If it goes up 5x on one ratio level, maybe you want to sell 70% or 75%. Oh, that's getting out of hand, but that's about 3 or 4 times in a blue moon that'll happen. But as far as having these types of moves, they happen all the time here and there. It gives it back. So I was able to, well, shortly after that video was done, it didn't take long. As the market had this breakout above on this breakout here, at like 1 in the whatever in the morning, I ended up getting out, selling at about 17,800 something, 1789 around that. And then I bought Litecoin and sent it to my hardware wallet. I wake up, well, this is down, and well, I have a program that I put in my spreadsheet. And what it does is it tells me the move since the last trade because I'm looking for 25% moves. So the next thing on the go, all pun intended because I meant to say go for that purpose, 14.1%. So if Litecoin can gain 10%, Go can lose an intricate value of 10%, then I'll make a trade on this. For the ratio is 39.77. I last got in at 34.84. But this morning when I woke up, this Litecoin Theta was in at 25%, 25.5%, which meant that it was time to take that Litecoin that I sold, not less than 90% of what I sold, send it back to Binance, checkmark, did that. Do some things, checkmark, did that. Sell it on the market, again, yada yada. Buy theta, I got more theta than I sold before. Write the numbers on the spreadsheet and send them to the wallet. All of it is check marked. I verified that it's on the wallet, it's there, and the mathematics upon it. The Theta Litecoin swap was for a 26% move because that's what it was when I traded this morning. So the profits, I have 11% more Theta gained from the amount that I sold last night. And I have 14.8% more added of Litecoin from what I sold this morning. Oh, it works out to 25.8%, I guess. Maybe it was about 26.2, 26.3, but for transaction fees, let's calculate it. No, and when I look at the it's four trades that I made. I did two trades last night, sell and the buy, two trades again this morning. It works out to about 25 cents for what I put up with the very cheap fees. And via that of the Binance coin, whatever that theta fuel is, maybe there's one that's or two that's zeros on the decimal, but a microscopic amount of one T fuel, which are available on Binance to trade. We're going to talk about that very soon in the next couple of minutes. Zero point 0.1 theta, I had to send that to the exchange, from the exchange. And I had to send 0.001 Litecoin as well to them. But those are all costs of doing business. If they're in the business of letting you buy and sell and move coins like that, they need to profit when you're doing activity. And of course, that's just obvious. So how much they profited? Well, I didn't, not much of a percentage from what I'm working with. And this is theta fuel on the 15-minute time frame, theta fuel on the 5-minute time frame, crossed against Binance. They also got it crossed against the USDC coin as well. And I'm thinking to myself, what do I do with it? It really isn't worth that much. For if I were to sell half of what I own, it technically would still not be the greatest of. I mean, what am I gonna do with the Bitcoin? Yeah, I could buy something. Yeah, I can get more theta. And I could hold it and see this thing lose. But I also have a thing in my head thinking, if this thing, theta that is, which is like, let's put the dollar cost in all of these. Let's first go T fuel against the dollar, which will do USDC coin. Well, it's 12. Let's just do it on this one because, well, Binance would have probably just added it themselves too. Yeah. But earlier this morning, it was like 1.8 cents at 1.2. I got to see Gate.io now. And let's go to 8-hour chart. Well, never mind. I'm just not going to do it. Either way, 1.29 cents for theta fuel. You got 5 times the amount if it was during the fork, which is works out to about 6.5 cents. But if you think of it from a perspective in here, is when you look at the Binance price of what they say theta is, it's 1.2 cents. That's like almost a 50% add-on towards it. So maybe it's too high there. Either way, I didn't have as much theta back then as I do now because I've done a lot more accumulation since the decline. That's theta token. Let's do a quick look at a bunch of altcoins, that these are the ones that I'm working with. DGB. Okay, this is day 3 of pausing amongst this 18 average of highs and all this. I am really liking the probability moving forward of this setup. I've seen price actions go well into the 200s. And if it comes down, the 18 average of lows is gonna be crucial support, I think. So we'll see how this goes forward, and I'll just adjust my when the ratios come into play. I'll just move and sell as needed be. And Litecoin is up really good too, which is a big reason why the buyback came into play on the theta, because of what Litecoin did on the daily chart. It's still below this Fibonacci level, but we've had a lot of support hitting at the 111 handle. It's been in the decline with the 18. We can see if you can look at the 18 line, it's just flat, just went boom, flat in one period, because this high on a front weighted period of the 126 handle is, well, noticeably higher than where the 18 is now declined to. This is just enough right now to flatten out the band. That's about it. It needs to have acceleration further to do more. Therefore, the 18 average of lows, 114, continues to be a must hold. And it's much nicer if it can even hold maybe some sort of area where it came from in this area here, like 117. But if this has a significant break above, like 136, 140 area, then I wanted to see it hold this pierce below the 128, maybe somewhere around like 122. That's the type of stuff I always think about when the markets go higher. But what does this mean after the move of this thing got going last night at the hour timestamp, and it was later on because at 2 o'clock it sure as heck wasn't up because I ended up buying Litecoin at that time. 1 hour term time frame, it started at 2 o'clock and it was late in the 2 o'clock. Did it do it right after I left the computer and went to bed? I suppose, but it goes up in 2 o'clock in here. Here we are at the 113, and it's up to 125 and just hanging in there. Nice little move. 15-minute time frame. It started at 2:45. Yeah, that makes sense. My computer was off then. So it just got going at this time. And one, two, three, big moves up. And that's what these markets do. When they're ready to go, they go. And what do we call this? A correction through time or price? All through time. It only had small down moves. It barely held this or support or established a level lower from where it was, that is. It did manage to make it to the 18 for multiple periods, and then a nice little breakout above it. And you break established resistance, correction through time. A correction through price would probably make us go back to the 120. But it's done the correction through time. Right now, this is a spot where it comes to the lows, has an attempt in leaving it, but it looks like it's not quite ready yet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 periods within it, and we got this level of key support. So this was a little faster or slow or longer than I was planning on it. But I haven't even looked at this time frames yet, and uh, hourly time frame when you're well extended, you got lots of possibilities here. This thing, well, could pause like this, but if this has momentum going forward, this could hit 133 like it's nothing. And the 18 average of highs and lows, well, the lows is in at the 11.8 handle, and the highs is in at the 12 handle. And that's a decent amount down from here. But if it does it, you got people do, oh, they wake up, oh, Litecoin's up, let's sell some. And then you get the early wave of the first influx of a decent price correction. And then we'll see how thereafter the point it reacts then. Okay, next is Bitcoin Cash. It continues to congest and really starting to show a lot of strength amongst the 18 average of highs, despite the fact that it had this red day and it didn't get above it here. But it's just staying and holding in within this Fibonacci, not Fibonacci line, just the major level of big resistance. 4 hour just hanging in there. But the 1 hour, we can see it managed to get up there at like 7 in the morning. Just been hanging in there. Got over there at this point. The 18 average of lows was phenomenal support yesterday afternoon. It was phenomenal support 1, 2 o'clock in the morning here. Maybe it'll have to come into play again, but I'm still waiting for that key breakout. But maybe you're the type of trader, oh, here it is at 52.3 I buy. Okay, maybe I have a stop down below here. I don't know where you play it on the stop game. Do you do it below this low here? That's why I don't do it, but I just realized if it has a good break above it, it's very likely it's a fast one. So knowing that information, trying to figure how you put your best game plan to buy and sell within that knowledge, well, that's up to you now. Let's move on next to Dashcoin, which ever since getting up to the 18 average on May the 15th, had to move above the highs and was able to consolidate and hold it for a day. The next day, it attempted to say, I think I want to leave it. Okay. It barely looked ahead, barely looked across the street, and then I stayed in there. And then it looked like it ran above it. Okay, it had a beautiful move, thus establishing a level of resistance. To come back to the band, 18 now starting to rise. Okay, that's great. And that's stage number 3. Come back to the band for reversal of trend. Resistance has been established. It's in, at least for Poloniex, it's in at 0.02172. If it gets a clear break above it, I'm expecting probably at least one good leg higher. And amongst us on the weekly term time frame, it is barely hanging in there when it comes down to. So a move higher for this would simply be at least a move to the 18 average of highs, maybe a retest above in here to try to get things going, because amongst this, you have had this downtrend that occurred, and of course it went even higher or even more so before then. But from the ending of it so far, at least what is at least a time correction, all of this correctionary move, there's your attempt to break above it, resistance established. then comes back to the band. Only problem is it doesn't support it and it has its break. Now, if you're looking at this on a fundamental levels, and the way I look at it is, what's a big reason for this decline? And that was Bitcoin kicking ass. So that gives me precedence that this has still live for the opportunity that if it breaks this established resistance, then it's live. And this would, in technical terms, this would be a failed breakdown, and that's something I'd be looking forward to. But a move like this, holding and staying in here, is a fantastic situation. And if I take a quick look at Dash against the US dollar, and I'm going to do it on this exact time frame here, it kind of shows a much, much different story. Oh, it had its decline. Yes, it did. And from this point, it established this level of resistance, gets above it, comes back to it, leaving the 18 here. It has left it. It has broke established resistance. So while one is looking to break down and failing its reversal, this one, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. Okay, now we're in a bull market. We'll see where we go moving forward. This tells me we're probably going to have at least one decent leg higher. A very good lower high rally would probably be somewhere into here. That looks to me where the probability is. This also tells me that there's a good chance that all sell-offs are guilty until proven innocent, and I like the chances that all sell-offs will hold and stay above the 18 average of lows for at least an okay amount of time, probably till we get at least to this level. Now, if it doesn't and it just stays above here, yeah, you'd be talking about a failed breakout, but usually when stuff like this happens, you have a good chance of in time having further acceleration higher. Let's move on to Go, and it's like, yeah, whatever coin this is. And you know what? I'm just playing it just for fun because I like the things that I've seen early. I like the mathematics of the moves in my trading strategy, so I just want to implement. It's a trading vehicle to see what I can make over it as we move forward. Do I understand risk reward that I could this thing go to nothing? Oh yeah, and I'm prepared for that situation if it comes in. Do I understand the risk reward if this thing just goes volatilely sick, has like major moves like 4x moves in a week, and then gives back most of it thereafter? Yeah, that's the stuff I want. I want to see that. That's why I'm playing it. And then fast to move it from the hardware wallet to the Binance exchange. We're talking many a seconds, minutes, like a minute and a half. Really, really fast. And then the Skycoin is even faster, but amongst this on the 4 hour term time frame, I need to show more data to make this relevant. So here we have this level of resistance in here, this little barrier, which is the area. This is like the must hold area, and it can even pierce below it. I mean, in here is pretty much just as good. Don't want to go too much lower, and I don't want to match it with this one, although maybe you might want to. And then you have this level here, which was this high, close to this one, and maybe you want to just do that high like right in here even. So this general area, it's holding and staying above it right now. And this level of resistance, it got above it, but the possibility of the failed breakouts in play. Still, it's only the failed possibility, and I'm just going to want to let this move. I don't care if it has a big move down or a big move up. In fact, there's a part of me that's hoping for it to come down here because Litecoin's going up, and I've already sold some of this for Litecoin a couple of days ago. So let the market do what it needs to do, and I'll wait from that point on. And let's conclude this video with Sky. Same, exact reasons why I'm playing Sky for that why I'm playing Go. Only difference is this is fast to send to the exchange, unlike Go. Because what did I say? Go would be like a minute or two. Yeah, this is faster. Just if you just want to see for yourself, if you have it, take some Sky if you can get it, whatever, and send it to Binance. And then the second you push the send button, maybe you start a stopwatch. And really, I think what happens with exchanges is they, well, every like what will happen is they'll show you, oh, you need so many confirmations. I can't remember how many this was. Let's just say it's 20, but it might take like 14 seconds for 20 to come, or 16 seconds. And you'll see on there confirming action of present tense and you'll see something like 28 of 20. And then maybe 14 seconds later, you can see it's available. You go on the exchange, you can sell it, so on and so forth. Within this pattern as it is, it's got a lot of congestion going on since this high. It looks very choppy at the whole situation. We do have the 18 of lows and highs still rallying, so as long as it's not able to break this pattern, that's going to keep going. But it does in the next few days. It's going to be forced to do something about going up here to keep the 18 average of highs rising. And overall, it's got to break this trend to one side or another. Right now, support has been established at 174. Resistance has been established in a couple areas, one around 270, and then again around the high 218s, like 220 area, somewhere around there. But the 4 hour time frame, you can see support here, came down to it, it pierced above it. Resistance here, and then it established it again, like 235. So we're having the lower high moves. So you have this high, then you have the 239. The most recent one that it's putting in is 216. And when you have those lower highs, if it's able to get above, well, maybe it can make a move to this one. If it's able to get above, maybe it can make a move to this one, so on and so forth. Because of this higher low movement and the fact there's no problem piercing below this at any time, if this move actually fails, then I'd be most certainly looking for a pierce below level at least in here. And then if that's the case, then that just continues the range. And it formidable again would have a third test in the general area of this, because you have test one, you'd have test two, you do your thing. If it comes back in here, this would be test three. But this breaking here, it almost is kind of a must hold area. I mean, it's sort of a semi one because you're pretty much going at least down to here. And yes, that's still a higher low to this, but we've established the range, and you know breaking each one is going to have that big move. So breaking down is going to do just that big move down. And then getting above some of these highs. Again, I want to take a look at how this would look on the daily chart. And it had a significant move above it, very much so. That if it can get above this, what do I see on the weekly? Well, it's been down so much. Hey, maybe it can go up to hit 500 and some of these sick points. That's sick volatility, but that's exactly one of the many reasons why I'm like, yeah, I'm going to buy some of this coin. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye.